Episode 251 of the Calcio Guys. Unofficially episode 250 because episode 250 we didn't have Adriano last 2 weeks ago. It was me, Johnny, and Luke, our friend Lucas. But here on the Calcio Guys, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on all your favorite podcasting platforms. With Adriano and Johnny, I'm Nicholas. Guys, how's it going? It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's going good. I just want to say before we kick off, just a big thank you. I know you guys had episode 250, and I know Lucas did a good job subbing in for myself on that day. So I just want to just send my my regards and my thanks to everybody who's listened all the years, who's followed, supported, all that good stuff. Again, guys, we say it every week. I sound like a broken record every week, but it really doesn't go unnoticed. It's because people continue to watch, listen, follow, interact, that we continue to do this over 250 episodes. So just a big thanks, and we hope for many more episodes to come, and maybe another 250. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Doing a lot of corrections, end of the semester before the winter break, so got a lot of assignments to correct here, but I'm doing okay.
What's the state of the education of the future, Johnny? Are kids smart these days?
As Johnny's doing the Tim Tebow.
Let's just leave that one up to the jury.
I mean, we're not too smart ourselves sometimes, no. So it's a cycle.
Maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Exactly. But guys, there was a lot of calcio, right, since we last spoke. There was Champions League, there was Serie A, there was Coppa Italia. There was Coppa Italia this week, and I feel like it's rare that there's games in December. That's usually in January. I think they just changed things up this year. But obviously, all our teams, participated in this latest round of 16. Everyone advanced except for Napoli, because Napoli had that disgusting week against Lazio, and so Roma pulled out the victory. It felt like one of those rare victories for Roma. Milan just beat up on Sassuolo, a team that historically, when Sassuolo was in Serie A, they would always get those 0-0 draws that me and Adriano saw in 2019 at the San Siro 5 years ago, almost to the day. And then Juve, it feels like every year when they play these round of 16 Coppa Italia games against the bottom team, they always go out and score 4 goals. And that was the case yesterday. So one more game left in Coppa Italia. It's tomorrow, Inter Udinese. But on one side of the brackets, it's Milan and Roma. So we got a Calcio Guys derby, and then Lazio will play the winner of Inter Udinese. So there's possibility of a Milan, Roma, Lazio, Inter side of the bracket, and then on the other side it's Juve, Empoli, Bologna, Atalanta. So one side's a lot harder than the other, but Adri, John, you guys got to be happy with at least Milan and Roma's wins in this Coppa Italia.
Yeah, I know. I know Milan's match was a couple weeks ago now. I think it was closer to the beginning of December there. But at that point in time, kind of still in the same rut, but with Milan's performances. But seeing 6 goals next to Milan's logo in a game, it seems like we never see that. Really taking it to Sassuolo, it was a breath of fresh air for that small time. In that matchup, and it's a game that it seems like Milan and Coppa Italia, they always seem to kind of get bounced out. They never really went the distance. They never really go for it. I'm hoping for a different result, this time around this year. I would like to see them, really fight for something, because the season so far has been next to a disaster. So if they can do something in Coppa Italia, just to, I don't want to say quiet us fans and appease us fans, because obviously that's not our main objective, but just to do something right and something positive, I think is a small step in the right direction. But Sassuolo, now a Serie B team. They were in Serie A for so long, like Nick said, always gave, I think, just the Milano clubs in general, Milan, Inter, fits in the leagues and all these recent years and just past years. So to see 6 goals, to see a lot of players step up, getting either the goal or just on the score sheet in some sort of fashion was impressive. Obviously, since then till now, things have obviously still been shaky in the league. Champions League has been somewhat of a surprise of a different story. 4 straight victories in Champions League consecutively, which hasn't happened in I think since 2005, if I'm not mistaken. So, but just in terms of that Coppa Italia matchup, 6-1, moving on to the next round to face Johnny's Roma. Again, it's not going to be an easy task, but at the same time, I think Milan should advance, and if everything kind of goes according to plan, maybe a Derby della Madonnina in the semifinals. So happy at that point in time. Obviously, now fast forward to today, it's a bit of a different state for Milan fans, but overall that matchup was a big one and a positive in this recent stretch of form for Milan.
I didn't get a chance to watch the Roma game because I was driving on the way home from Cornwall, so I don't really have much to offer.
But what was the score? I didn't see it. The score.
I think it was 4-1.
4-1.
4-1 Roma versus Sampdoria.
I forgot Samp's not in Serie A anymore.
So yeah, Samp and Sassuolo, both Serie B teams now.
It's crazy life, eh?
Annihilated by Serie A teams, but
Napoli actually had to play a Serie A team. Didn't do so well. I mean, Jenny, we spoke about it, right, with Lucas. Like, no surprise that Conte fielded basically 11 backups.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes back to his 11 starters on the weekend against Lazio and loses 1-0 on home. At least they got the win right and get 3-1 against Udinese. But did you get worried at all from those two sets of games against Lazio?
Not necessarily. I guess it just seems like Lazio was the better team in those games. So you can't do much. You can't do much to a team that's prepared. I was honestly surprised that it was 1-0. I thought Napoli would have probably done better, but I mean, it just goes to show that despite some of the positives that they have experienced this year, there's still some things to work on for this team. Which is one of them is like they seem to get the job done versus other clubs, but when they're faced a little bit of a challenge, they need to really dig deep and work their way into getting a result. So it's not really more of a worrisome thing. It's just more like, okay. But also Lazio was on a very big hot streak. So, sometimes when you're on, you're on. You can't really stop it. And you can try your best to I guess to mitigate it. I don't know if there's a better word for it, but sometimes the hottest team is the hottest team for a reason, and Lazio showed that until they played Inter. Then Inter is like, hold on, pump the brakes, boys. Pump the brakes. We're just gonna put
six brought them back down to reality a bit.
Yeah. We're just gonna put
that's crazy.
We're just gonna put 6 in the back of the net, and then you guys can have fun.
And if there's a team to score 6 goals, it's a black and blue team, right? Inter or Atalanta, they did that today against Cesena. Okay, no disrespect to Cesena, but Serie B team, right? But these are, you could argue, right, 2 of the best teams in the Serie A right now. I know that the table doesn't really reflect that, but Inter 40 goals, Atalanta 39, Inter 15 goals against, Atalanta 17. I forget where they are in the Champions League table as well there, but if I'm not mistaken, they're each in the top 10 in the Champions League.
Atalanta's 12th.
Atalanta's 12th. Sorry, Atalanta's 13th. Milan's 12th.
Sorry.
Inter's 6th.
Sorry.
Inter's 6th. And Juve's actually right there too. So you got 3 Italian teams in a row, 12, 13, 14. So copycat league. Insert Spider-Man meme here. But yeah, for Juve, man, it's just been a weird past 2 months. Their past 8 Serie A games, 6 draws. Their only games they've won, it was both by 2-0 scores on November 2nd, November 9th. Besides that, just draw. 2 draws at home in 2 weekends in a row. Saying a lot of number 2 here. And then they go out and beat Man City 2-0. I know Man City's been really struggling this season. They were going in like 9 winless games in a row or something. But regardless, like Man City is a better team than Bologna. They're a better team than Venezia. You get the win versus Man City, but you can't get the win versus versus Venezia and Bologna. It's just weird. Okay, yesterday's result, I'm happy, right? One thing I was thinking is like, okay, Motta has got to learn that in Coppa Italia, you can't draw. Technically, you can if it goes to penalties, yes, but there's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. It was good to see. Yes, Juve's had a lot of injuries. Nico Gonzalez came back, but I think it's Weah now who already has an injury, so it's like one guy in, one guy out type of thing. But hey, at the end of the day, next man up. But Juve's just in this weird, phase right now. Even if you guys look at the Serie A table, where they're in sixth, right behind Lazio, but Lazio has 4 more wins. The only difference is that Juve has 9 more draws and 5 less losses. So, yes, you could say all day that Juve is undefeated on the season in the Serie A, which is true. Yes, but, they might finish the season with 18 wins and 20 draws or something like that. It seems very realistic at this point.
Yeah, they can't. I don't know. They can't buy a win in Serie A. It seems in these matchups. I mean, I think I didn't see all the game. I saw more of the highlights of the City game in Champions, but I think that was probably maybe a bit of a breath of fresh air for that split second. But besides that, I mean, it can't be. It can't be that you go and beat again. Whatever, City's having its problems, but City's third team is better than Venezia, right? Like. They have the luxury to field anybody they want, buy whoever they want, and field them on the pitch. Venezia, even to say Bologna, they don't have those capabilities. So I was a bit shocked on the result. I'll be honest with you. I thought it would be more of a competitive game. You got to kind of tip your hat off to Juve in that sense. But keeping a clean sheet against City, reigning Champions League winners, this year now is to have them at no goals and score 2 nice goals. The McKennie, the American connection there with Weah as well. It was impressive, but come back down to earth into Serie A and tie Venezia 2-2, and a game where I think they end up scoring late too, right, off the penalty to tie the game. If not, it would have been a 2-1 result. And who knows? I mean, we already know what the papers were going to look like, but it would have been even more, maybe negativity and more, attacks against Motta. And, we're better off with Allegri. Oh, no, but we have Motta now. It's like back and forth. So I don't know. I think a lot of these, I don't want to say Milan and Juve are on like the same road, but it seems like too many ups and downs, too many, not consistent performances from the both of them. And, that's why, they're currently in 6th and 8th place in the table. Right. So the undefeated thing, like you said, Nick, I agree with you. It's not enough. I mean, 9 draws is crazy. It's crazy. Like we're 16 match days in, 9 of them are draws. 0-0s, the 2-2s, it's not enough for a team like Juve, but I don't know how long that's going to last. We'll see. But one thing's for sure is that, like you said earlier, Nick, the Inters of the world, the Atalantas of the world, are really pushing for that title. And personally, I still throw Napoli in that mix. I know maybe some fans won't, but I'm still throwing Napoli into that mix because, yeah, they got, handled by Lazio twice in the span of 4 or 5 days. But listen, it's never going to be a perfect season. And if you have a little bit of a lull in your season, it's normal. And I think that's what happened with Napoli. But with one competition, like I said from the beginning of the year, I think they really have to go for the Scudetto, and they're right there in the mix. So I know Atalanta's currently in first, if I'm not mistaken, by 2 points, right?
Yeah, 31 points.
So
and then Napoli 35, Inter 34. They do have the game in hand though, so
it's Fiorentina game.
Okay, it's Fiorentina. That's a 3-4 game, so that's not that's a big game to decide the top 4.
It's crazy, and a lot of those teams, like Inter has that game in hand with Fiorentina, so that's 2. Milan has the game in hand with Bologna, and those are teams still in this, the 7, 8 6, 7, 8, 9 range, whatever, to maybe push into some sort of European competition. So there's a lot at stake, and I don't know when they're planning on making up these games. I haven't heard anything official for that, but those games are going to be huge, especially if it's the table kind of sticks the way it is. These are going to be big matchups to be replayed. So obviously, I think the Inter Fiorentina one was obviously just for the postponement and the replay of that game, with obviously the Bove situation, which I don't think I got to speak about it on the show, but just a terrible situation. Very, very scary for somebody so young as well. Happy to see him now finally back out of hospital, back at the facility. Maybe not back to 100%, but back to try to get to that 100% as close as he can be. But just scary situation. Happy he's okay and back in good health. But the Milan Bologna weather delay thing that got this game postponed was, in my opinion, ridiculous. They had other sporting events that day in Bologna, and they didn't want to do Bologna Milan. I don't get it, but regardless of that, I just think these games in hand and just how teams are playing and how this top half of the table really is looking. These all are crucial games, and if you're gonna have 2-2 results, 0-0s, 1-0 losses, it's not gonna be enough. So we'll see how things turn if they do in the new year.
Did he have to get a pacemaker installed or not? I don't think I've ever seen a conversation.
Yeah, he had. I think it's like a removable one, but I'm not sure how that all works. To be honest, Nick, I don't know if you saw more, but that's what I had seen.
I didn't.
That he had some sort of. I don't know if pacemaker was the word. I think it was, but something along those lines that can be removed and installed at the time that he, I guess, needs it, or however that works. But now, I don't know. I was also hearing other things about. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to still play in Italy because of that, because the Italian sort of the federation doesn't allow players to have that during play. We look back at the Christian Eriksen situation.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really scary at the Euros. So ultimately, he left Inter to go play back in England. But I don't know. I'm hoping he can get back on the pitch, and I'm hoping it's still with Fiorentina, still in Italy, because this is a young player and who still has a future ahead of him in this game, hopefully. So we'll see how things get worked out there. I don't know all the particulars with the technicalities of all that. If anybody listening does, let us know. But it's I'm just happy that from a scary situation, there's obviously a positive ending to all of this, hopefully. So that's kind of where I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. It was good to see him back, and unfortunately, his Fiorentina lost to Bologna. We're talking about Bologna, we're talking about Fiorentina. It felt like that was, it's a bit of a rivalry, right? It's Derby dell'Apennino, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
They're close in standings. Bologna is making their way up, guys. I know they had a rough start to the season. It's, obviously new system, new coach now under Italiano. Unfortunately, haven't gotten much done in Champions League. They're pretty much all but eliminated now if they aren't mathematically eliminated at this point. But they're already pushing, at least to a European spot next year, which is, at the end of the day, it's good to see, because the worst thing that could have happened to this Bologna team is, they make Champions League this year, the squad gets blown up, and then they just disappear after. Almost kind of like what happened with Sassuolo, where a couple years ago they made Europa League, they kind of floated around in that top 8 zone for a while, and now they're in Serie B. So at least it seems like Bologna, they kind of have those ambitions, and even looking at the table, like you said, they're 25 points, they're ahead of Milan. Adri, I don't know, does that worry you a bit to see Bologna ahead of Milan? I know Milan's been having their struggles too. I know there's a whole Fonseca movement already. 0-0 Genoa, tied to Genoa on the 125th anniversary, a game that was celebrated with all these legends, except for Maldini. You go online, there's all comments like, "Where's Maldini? Where's Maldini?" Yeah. Just it seems like it was a bit of a dark shadow, especially the game 0-0. It reminds me, Adrian, of the game we went. That was a 120 celebration, the exact same day 5 years earlier. You know, it was Sunday as well. And this is 125th celebration. They do even something more spectacular, and 0-0.
I don't know. It seems like the anniversary is a curse. I don't know. It just crazy to me. I mean, just we could have a whole podcast alone on Milan struggles for sure. But yeah, just embarrassing is I don't even know if that's the word, but or if that's if that word has enough weight for what's going on at Milan currently. But it's just really not good enough. I mean, like you said, Nick, carbon copy of 5 years ago. We were at San Siro against Sassuolo, 120th anniversary. We got the scarf at the entrance. Everybody got it. We walked in, had a great time. One goal got called back by VAR. That was the only difference. It was 0-0. Everything was Spicciagada, the same thing, carbon copy. The only thing that was different, we saw a goal get taken back from VAR. In this game against Genoa, there was none of that. But you know, I think the best thing that we saw was the kit, the 125th anniversary kit. I personally thought it was beautiful, amazing. I really, you know, chosen by the fans. Puma, I think, did an incredible job. I know some fans had criticism against it. I didn't see it. Maybe I had my Milan blinders on. I don't know, but for me, it was a beautiful kit. Really just traditional Milan red and black, which I really liked. But besides that, the performance against Genoa, and again, no disrespect to Genoa, it was just not gonna a 0-0 on your 125th anniversary. Our so-called owner, Jerry Cardinale, nowhere to be found. It's just from top to bottom. Just this weekend was just was a mess, and especially coming off you know Champions League win. Obviously, the loss to Atalanta, the 2-1 at the end, that Lookman you know stole points for Milan was a hard one to swallow. I was pissed from that one, but now to come to turn to this game against Genoa, just terrible. Like nobody in sync, can't finish in the final third. It's things that we've been saying as Milan fans, and I know I've been saying on this show for not only this year. It's like we've had spurts of not being able to do these things, and it's just not good enough. It's as simple as that. It's unfortunate because you want to see the club perform, especially on their anniversary. It's 125 years. That's a big history. And we know Milan's history, what it is. To have all those legends come back to celebrate that with you and perform like that. I think the highlight of the game, but besides the kits, was Balotelli in the tunnel, going to all the legends and embracing and high fiving and handshakes with all the legends, and everybody was happy to see Super Mario. Besides that, there was no action. I think Fonseca was trying to send a message with the benching of Theo, the benching of some of our players throughout the season to try to maybe wake up the squad, and he put in Jimenez, which I think he had a good game, a young player, a player that some fans would maybe like to see more often in the lineup as maybe as a right back, because our right back situation is beyond terrible between Calabria, who has just dipped tremendously, and Emerson Royale, who I don't know how he's a professional football player, soccer player. It's atrocious, but I think he did well. But again, we're missing pieces. Obviously, Pulisic's injury doesn't help. Loftus-Cheek, they were just going down like flies. Loftus-Cheek fills in for Pulisic, he goes down. Morata was starting, he goes down. In these last couple of games, so it's just it was just unfortunate. Sorry, that was the Champions League games, but just to say off my head, but just not good enough. I don't know. I don't know what the next move is. I know a lot of people want Fonseca out. I don't think people wanted Fonseca in to begin with. We knew that. He wasn't the first choice. I think he was just the band-aid solution that hopefully can take Milan to, still keep them in top four. Currently, like you said, Nick, am I worried about Bologna ahead of Milan? I mean, listen, we have still that game in hand, and it's against them, so that's a huge game. So we'll see how that pans out. But Milan on paper should be doing a lot better than what they're doing. It's on the pitch where it matters is where the problems are, and unfortunately, we're not seeing consistent results week in and week out. We have to sweat, we have to struggle for teams like, and again, no disrespect to Genoa, but to Genoa, like it shouldn't be. And Fabrizio, I know if you're listening to this, and it's no disrespect, but it's just to say, like, we shouldn't be struggling against Genoa. We played Friday against Verona. Do we have to sweat for that? Hopefully not. But knowing Milan, we probably will. So,
well, Verona's no pushover team.
No, they're not.
Yeah, but they always tend to surprise, so you can't really consider them.
That's true. And
they're bringing dogs out before the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the animals. They're dogs.
DAWG, right? That type of dog. But no,
but
that initiative with the dogs, the rescue dogs, we were trying to get them home. We'll have to see that. But again, and I know they opened the season with that big performance against Napoli, but again, we shouldn't have to sweat with teams of that nature against the Veronas of the world. So is my point. Will we? Probably. Should we? No. I don't know. I just want to see more consistency. I know players are not having their best season, but fans are just going crazy. I know they want everybody out. They put banners, outside the stadium, at the hotel. They had a celebration for the 125th anniversary. They were yelling. It was just crazy. Like certain players were getting bashed and certain players not cheered, whatever. It's just a mess. I hope we can turn this page. I know the new year is coming. We need to make it to the new year. If not, it's going to be a real disaster. Many fans were saying if Fonseca is going to eat the panettone. I don't know. I really don't. We'll see, I guess. But my thing is also, it's like they want Fonseca out, which, again, I'm not a fan of him either. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to defend Fonseca because he's been up and down too. But it's like for me, it's like, what realistic option are you going to bring in January? I saw Xavi today. Is that going to really move the needle for us? We're going to have to change everything for a guy like Xavi. I think, anyways, for me, it starts at the top. From Cardinale down to Ibra and company, who's been doing a terrible job. It just shows that legends on the pitch are not always going to be, amazing in front office jobs. It just clear. It reminds. I mean, I'm not going to compare Ibra to Wayne Gretzky, but it showed the greatest player in hockey couldn't manage to coach or GM or anything in the NHL, right? So. It's not always going to be a smooth transition, and I don't think they've been doing an adequate enough job for where this club wants to be, where they should be, where they need to be. It's a mess, but I don't know if Cardinale decides to sell and decides to give up his stake in the pie. I don't think many fans would be too sad about it. So we'll see what the future holds. I'm hoping for a bright one, but it's going to still have to be manage our expectations one game at a time, and we'll see where it goes. And again, it starts Friday against Verona. And I know people in the paper were saying, "Oh yeah, if Fonseca beats Verona, he keeps his job. If he loses it, he's more in danger for his job." If a game against Verona is deciding a manager's future, like Fonseca, we have bigger problems than what we really know. So all that to say, I'm hoping for some positivity going forward into the holiday break, into the new year, and we need top four. That's the bottom line, because clearly we can't fight for the Scudetto. Top four is a bare minimum, and if we don't get that, I think that's when maybe more of the worrisome. We don't want to go back to that rut of consecutive years not doing well, and any banter era situations, we don't want to go back down to that. So top four is a must, and I'm hoping to achieve that.
Jan, you're muted if you're gonna say something.
I was gonna make a joke and say I think you guys should call Wayne Glensky, not Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Glensky.
Yeah, and before we get into the end of year stuff, Johnny, look at Roma's schedule. It actually looks pretty tough moving forward towards the end of this year. Okay, they play Parma this weekend. they're a mid-table team. They play Milan. They play Lazio in the Derby on January 5th. January 12th, they play Bologna. And then after that, it kind of dies on Genoa and then back to Europa League. Udinese Europa League. And then Napoli. And then again, Milan in February. So
when did they play Milan when now?
December 29th and February 5th.
February 5th. Okay.
So tough little stretch now for Roma for the next, 6 weeks. I don't know. How much do you expect, Jenny? Or is it your heart's broken?
For Roma, my heart's broken. I'm just there like, please don't go down to Serie A.
He's picking up the pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Last Christmas, I gave Roma my heart. On the very next day, they gave it away.
Perfectly said.
Yeah. So for me, it's just more like find a way to like maintain the course or just keep yourself afloat. Stop the boat from sinking. Because if even Claudio Ranieri can't even keep everything stable, then there's a fundamental issue. There's an issue with the foundation. You built your home on very wet dirt, and it's just sinking into the ground now. You built it on swampland, so to speak. So, sorry, I was drinking water. For the listeners at home, but that at this point, just. I think you need to dig it up like the ruins, just dig it up and just change it completely. I think something drastic needs to happen at this point. Yeah, sure, you won in Coppa Italia, but you beat a Serie A B team. You should beat a Serie A B team, I'm not going to be super celebrating like how Juventus fans were celebrating the win against Calgary. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm just having some fun. I need to cope with laughter.
They were celebrating way too hard, though. To your credit.
Yeah.
I saw Juve accounts celebrating the 2-2 draw versus Bologna because of the comeback from 2-0 down.
Yeah, I saw one of the worst Juve accounts actually make a point that I had to agree with, and I was stunned. I'm like, the meme where it's like heartbreaking, the world's worst person has made a great point type of thing. Well, this Juve account basically quote tweeted another Juve account that said, "What a world-class performance by Locatelli, world-class player." And it's like the word world-class is just being thrown around like nothing nowadays.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I agree with this person. This is amazing. You could say he had a fantastic performance. I'm not trying to discredit Locatelli's performance, but to call him world-class, it's like calma.
Yeah, big time. Something further from the truth, man. That's crazy. But yeah,
world class. If he had a good performance, he had a good performance. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying, let's pump the brakes on the words world class.
It's like GOAT. Like everybody's the GOAT now.
Yeah,
like, it can't be. How many GOATs can we have? We're gonna have a herd soon. Like
exactly. They're gonna climb mountains for us.
There you go.